Hi, this is James at Bespoke, latest vlog entry. If you haven't seen it already today, the process of what you need to do to win the Crytek Chris Vector and the £500 to spend here at Bespoke has gone up today. But what I want to talk about today is something that we've been asked a lot, mainly from people popping in to collect their orders. So it's with this new regulations that have now been passed, and it will be law in regards to power limits and guns that shoot full auto. So I am not the authority on this. I am not 100% on any of this information. This is basically what I've learned from the quick pieces, bits and pieces that I've read. If you haven't already, head over to the UCAPU either website or Facebook page and support them, because they are fighting for UK airsofters on a daily basis and they need your support to do this. So get on over, become a member of UCAPU, help support the defence that they're putting together for UK airsoft. So, as far as I can gather, this new law is to do with power limits. So, with things that shoot semi-auto and like your bolt actions and stuff are allowed up to 500 feet per second on the lethality. Anything above that, you know, they deem it to become lethal. So, with this new law, if you've got a bolt action sniper rifle or you've got a semi-automatic gun that can only shoot semi-automatic, there's that 500 FPS limit. Now that's not a sight limit, that's the lethality limit. So you're allowed up to 500 feet per second. If it goes over, it then gets classified as an air rifle. So it's still bad, but it's not as bad as if you've got a gun that's shooting full auto. So if you've got a gun that shoots full auto that fires over 370 feet per second, it then becomes a Section 5 firearm, which is a very serious offence and can land you a mandatory 5 years in prison. It's not really as worrying to electric guns, because to get them apart, you've got to change something. You've got to change parts of the gun to make it perform higher than the 370 if you were just under. So say if you've got a gun that's firing 350 and it gets tested, they've got to physically change parts of the gun to make it go over that lethality limit. So this is more of a concern for gas blowback fully automatic rifles, like your gas blowback assault rifles, even pistols, anything that's fully automatic capable. You've got a Glock 18C, it's fully auto capable. If it goes over 370 feet per second, which in regards, it won't really, unless you're running stupid power through, I don't know, with a massive amount of upgrades and HPA tapping, you know. But your standard off-the-shelf pistols, they're not going to be going that high. Now, your rifles, a lot of the rifles, let's take, for example, a WE gas blowback rifle, whether it's an AK, an M4, 416, anything like that. It's got full auto capability. Now, it is so easy to change the power on that gun. So you could be using green gas and it could be firing at 330 feet per second. But you take black gas, like Nuprol 4.0 gas or something like that, on a hot day, it's going to fire over 370. A lot of these guns sometimes come from the factory firing over 400. Instantly becomes a Section 5 firearm. So what they're basically saying is if your gun is to be tested, they will be testing it with the highest powered gas that they can find. If you're running HPA, when you're running something that's full auto, they're going to be trying to make that gun break the limit. So you've got to stop them from being able to make that gun break the limit so easy. So with a HPA, it's just a simple turn the regulator up. I know I've spotted a few videos going up here and there in regards to some people that do more HPA related stuff, saying do this, do that to your regulator to make it so they can't change it. What's to say they're going to use your regulator? If they're going to be testing guns, they could be using their own regulator. And again, changing the regulator on a bottle is a simple change. Just because your reg is locked to make that gun 300 feet per second doesn't mean you haven't got another regulator at home that will make it do more. So you've got to be careful. You've got to be above board with this. You've got to make sure that that gun is not going to break the limit if it gets tested. Now, I don't think they're going to be coming to airsoft sites and testing guns. That's not going to happen. Let me just put it into a scenario for you though. You've been to a weekend event or a game day or something like that. You're driving either to or from the event, either to the event or back home. Just so happens, for whatever reason, your car gets pulled over. Now, 9 times out of 10 they check some details they need to and they go on their way. However, if they're going to search your car, it's in your best interest to tell them what you're carrying and why you're carrying it. So let's say you get pulled over, they want to see what's in the car, they've had reports of seeing guns being brought in and out of the car. You say, right, it's an airsoft gun, I've got a more than legal defence, to use that gun at a specified event. They may call someone in to make sure that gun is an airsoft gun and not a real one. It's happened. Don't be so naive to think that this is never going to happen to you, because it could do. Now, once they check if that's a real gun or an airsoft gun, they're going to put it through that lethality test, or they could do. So instantly your gun goes over, mandatory 5 years imprisonment, section 5 firearm offence. So the biggest thing I can find that makes these guns incapable of running yourself into that kind of trouble, lock them to semi-auto. Whether you're running HPA, whether you're running a gas blowback rifle. Now, the Daedalus rifle, as you've seen before, it's a KJ Works KCO2. It's used on green gas, which I've made to run at about 330 feet per second, or I can up it to about 450 if I want to use it as a DMR. Late last year I put a Future Energy full auto kit in that gun, so it can use full auto. If I'm running HPA, running at 350, I can use full auto. It's an absolute brilliant bit of kit. However, whether I'm running a green gas mag or a HPA mag, this law now means that that could easily be turned into a section 5 firearm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that full auto kit out of that gun and return it to semi-auto only. That is me showing some diligence in making sure that that gun cannot fire over the lethality limit in fully automatic. So what I would say is do it the same. It's not going to be a hard thing to do. Lock your HPAs manually. You can do them on like the FCUs, like the fire control units and such, but you don't know if they know how to change those settings. Remember, they're going to try and make it break the limit in full auto. So lock it mechanically, make it so that they can't put it on full auto, because then if that gun goes over the limit, even up to over 500 feet per second, it then gets classified as an air rifle, which in England you don't need a licence for. Different up in Scotland at the moment. So that's the best bit of advice for the moment, until we hear any more updates or news of anything UCAPU are doing. Is just lock it to semi, and then you're covered. So we will update you the more that we hear and the more that we read on this subject, and I will get it over to you guys through a video as soon as I can. I hope that's answered some of the questions, and I hope it's cleared it up for a lot of UK airsofters that have sort of might have missed this information. So thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you in the next video.